An alarming attack. 4 BC students recovering after being sprayed with acid at a train station in France. Why police say they do not believe this was terror related.
A big week ahead for President Trump as he prepares to address the UN for the first time, with North Korea topping the agenda.
Tom Brady and the Patriots back in a winning way and in a big way, making it look pretty easy down in the Big Easy. But there are some major injury concerns after that big win.
And television's biggest and brightest stars getting their chance to shine in a night of Colbert, comedy, and criticism.
This is 7 News Today in New England.
First up at 5 o'clock, we continue tracking Hurricane Jose. Right now, it is a Category 1 hurricane, winds of about 85 miles per hour. It is moving north at 9 miles per hour and is about 280 miles east-southeast of Cape Hatteras. It is Monday morning, and you're watching 7 News Today in New England. I'm Chris Anderson.
And I'm Nicole Oliverio. Tropical storm watch is now in effect from Delaware all the way up to Cape Cod. And for the latest advisory that was issued just moments ago, we want to head right over now to Ren Claire. Do the very latest on the storm's track, Brent.
Good Monday morning. So yeah, some good news with that latest advisory. We are looking at actually a little bit less of a threat. So that cone of uncertainty pulling away a little bit farther from southern New England, and actually Hurricane Jose weakening a little bit earlier as well. So that's definitely good news for us here in southern New England, that we do still have this tropical storm watch in effect, and this extends all the way from the Outer Banks up into southern New England, Buzzards Bay, the Cape, the Islands, the South Shore, looking at this tropical storm watch, which also extends off the coast and just off the coast of the North Shore. As we head into today, we're going to continue to track Jose, but you do notice kind of a little bit of an unorganized storm at this point. So not really a centralized area of circulation and taking up a lot of space, still capable of strong winds and bringing some heavy rainfall, but again, likely to weaken as it continues to move into cooler water as well. So we head into the next couple of days. This is on a northerly track, not terribly steered by upper level winds terribly well. So we're going to kind of do a loop-de-loop as we head into the end of this week, and Jose continues to weaken, but kind of tracks farther southeastward. As we head into Tuesday night, this looks to be a tropical storm now, so not a hurricane. And as we head into Wednesday, still tropical storm, then tracking southeastward into the end of the week. This cone of uncertainty that expands a little is going to be more associated with that later track into the end of the week. Early on, though, we're really just looking at the main effects at this point, and this could change a little still, is going to be more so for the islands. So still very strong winds and heavy rain, especially to our southeast as we head into tomorrow and tomorrow night. Still seeing that heavy rain into Wednesday morning as well. And Chris is going to talk a little more about this for us.
Right, all of us picking up some rain tomorrow, so that leading edge of the rain, really the front runner of this system here. And then once we get into the heart of the storm where the winds increase on Wednesday, and it acts like a nor'easter. I mean, it looks like a nor'easter right now on satellite presentation. It'll act like one. Once we get into it on Wednesday, the focus of the heaviest rain will be down into southeastern Massachusetts, 3 to 5 inches for the Cape and the Islands. You know, Nantucket, you may sneak in just higher than that, or there may be some lower amounts in here if the track's a little bit farther off to the south and to the east. And the farther north and west you go, the lower the rain totals as the way it looks right now. Wind speeds not overly strong on Tuesday, tomorrow, but we'll watch them increase in the afternoon. You can see in the afternoon already gusting near 40 miles an hour down through the Cape and the Islands. They continue to increase Tuesday night, and it's Wednesday that we start to see some of the strongest winds, gusting 35 to 40 in the Boston area, but over 50 across the Cape. And at Vineyard over toward Nantucket, you folks would be the most susceptible to even some stronger winds, perhaps pushing past 60 miles an hour with this storm close to us on Wednesday evening. So we'll keep an eye on that. That wind essentially is going to help drive some ocean water close to the coastline. And at this time, we do expect minor to moderate coastal flooding and some beach erosion with this system, especially during the Tuesday night and the Wednesday afternoon high tides.
All right, Chris, thanks. And fears of possible flooding and beach erosion causing concern for people living along the coast. That's where we find 7's John Coco. He's live this morning in Scituate on how they're preparing just in case. John.
So, Nicole, Scituate police are telling people to have their plans in place, with the biggest impacts expected tomorrow and Wednesday. And here's the good news. It appears people are listening.
It was a beautiful Sunday in Scituate, but a storm is looming.
We just have a lot of experience with this because we're always in the eye of it.
People in town are preparing for Hurricane Jose, the effects likely to be felt off the New England coast.
So we have a generator in here.
Bob Gallagher, the light keeper at Old Scituate Light, is ready if the power goes out.
You tighten up things that are could blow around the yard. One broken window makes all the difference.
Scituate police warning people to take the storm seriously, reminding them to secure their property and to have enough food and gas.
Well, you stock up on the water, you stock up on food and everything like that. Make sure you have batteries and all the flashlights and candles and such. So, yeah, we're prepared.
The last major storm to hit the town was back in February, bringing pounding surf during the high tide that went over the seawall, flooding low-lying streets and parking lots.
The water comes into the garage, so I have a bunch of sandbags that I'll put out.
Steve McDonald lives on Oceanside Drive, an area known to flood. The town is in the process of building a new seawall right across from his home, and he's confident everything will hold.
We don't anticipate any major flooding. The wall will win this one.
So police are also warning about possible power outages. And one other reminder, along with food and water, police are telling people to get their prescriptions filled. That's the latest live here in Scituate. John Coco, 7 News, Today New England.
John, thank you. And stay with the news station for the latest on Hurricane Jose as it moves closer to New England. You can get updates anytime using our mobile and tablet apps.
Time now for a first look at the roadways this morning. Let's get over to Elena Pinto with the Monday Morning Commute.
Good morning, Chris. Very quiet out there, especially on the Zachem and the Leverett connector. Not too much is going on. Let's go to those maps. There's plenty of green out there, too, from 495 if you're taking 93, and you shouldn't run into too many things. Route 1 still looks okay. The expressway split looks fine. 3, 24, 95, no issues there. The Pike's wide open all the way into the city, and 2 and 3 are doing good. Your drive time will be very quick, 10 minutes on the expressway, 12 on the Pike, 11 on 93.
5:06, and right now 4 Boston College students are recovering after an alarming attack that happened at a train station in France. Police say a 41-year-old woman is now in custody after she apparently sprayed these students with acid. 7's Victoria Warren is live this morning with the very latest on what we know about this attack. Vicki?
Well, good morning. We know that these 4 students remain in France, that they are recovering. And we also know that French police say they don't believe that this is a case of terrorism, but rather a case of somebody who is mentally ill. 4 Boston College students studying in France hurt after police say a woman threw acid at them in a Marseille train station.
I studied abroad as well, and I was just telling her about it, and that's really scary.
The students, all juniors, were rushed to the hospital. French police arrested a 41-year-old woman, calling her disturbed and saying they don't think this is terrorism.
I think they're just shocked. I had an email correspondence with one of the 4 students who said she's just exhausted by the whole ordeal.
2 students treated for shock. The other 2 might need follow-up care for burns. One girl took to Facebook saying she's praying her attacker is healed from mental illness, writing, "Thank you so much to everyone who has reached out to see if I'm okay and or has been praying for us. I did not receive any injuries from the attack in Marseille this morning, and we are all safe. The French police and the U.S. consulate have been wonderful, and we are so thankful for that." Back on campus in Boston, other students are thinking about their classmates.
We'll just keep their families in our prayers for sure and hope for the best.
A Boston College spokesperson says students have been studying in Europe for years and they've never had a problem like this before. We're told that these 4 students will continue in France, that there are no plans right now for them to come home early. Live this morning in Chestnut Hill, Victoria Warren, 7 News, Today New England.
Topping the president's agenda, his first ever address to the United Nations. It's set for tomorrow with the ongoing tensions with North Korea over their recent nuclear test expected to take center stage. 7's Carrie Corrado is here now with more on what we can expect. Carrie.
Nicole, good morning. Foreign policy is on the president's agenda this week. Since the missile launches, the president and South Korea agreed to stand up to North Korea both economically and diplomatically. They plan to work together to stop the threats.
North Korea's rocket launch is expected to be a major topic of President Trump's first address before the United Nations this week.
This regime is so close now to threatening the United States and others with a nuclear weapon that we really have to move with a great deal of urgency on sanctions, on diplomacy, and on preparing, if necessary, a military option.
On Sunday, the president spoke to South Korea's president on the phone. Their convo focused on the man behind the missiles, Kim Jong-un. The president tweeting asked him how Rocket Man is doing. Long gas lines forming in North Korea. Too bad. The pair agreeing to stronger sanctions against Kim Jong-un's regime and its latest missile tests. Last month, President Trump said that North Korea could face, quote, fire and fury like the world has never seen. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, saying that was not an empty threat.
We've pretty much exhausted all the things that we could do at the Security Council at this point. We wanted to be responsible and go through all diplomatic means to get their attention first. If that doesn't work, General Mattis will take care of it.
And although Haley says the Trump administration wants to exhaust all of its diplomatic options first, she continues to stress that military options are on the table and have been from the very start. In the newsroom, Carrie Corrado, 7 News.
Now to the Patriots, picking up their first win with a dominant performance on the road. Tom Brady leading the Big Easy bounce back, passing for more than 400 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Pats rolled to a 36-20 win over the Saints. The Pats jumping out to an early lead, never looking back, and they even beat one of their own records at 1-1.
It was pretty good. It was kind of like that's how it was supposed to be in week 1. Right. Those are the Patriots we know. Although there are some lingering injury issues this morning. Rob Gronkowski leaving the game in the 3rd quarter. 7's Trey Dare has more now from New Orleans.
Rob Gronkowski back to his dominant self, but already without Julian Edelman. What will the Patriots do if Gronk can't go?
Well, we'll do the best that we have, the best that we can with what we have to work with. So that's what we'll do.
Gronkowski looking like an unstoppable force before his groin injury, turning in the biggest play of the game.
Tough guy to tackle in the open field. It was a big play in the game, and we need some more plays like that. Play breaks down. You know, it's not necessarily the first type of the route call, but guys make adjustments, work hard in their routes to uncover, find open space, and then, you know, you make those type of plays. I think it's you know, hurts the defense pretty bad.
Overcoming injuries, a challenge at any position and at any point in the season. As for getting over a subpar effort in week 1,
I think all the, you know, veterans had a chance to say, you know, the things that they wanted to say to their different groups, and can't take anything for granted. And you know, in order to win, you got to go out there and compete as hard as you can every play. And you know, we did a good job of that today.
That's what the season's about. You know, it's only the 2nd game. A ton of room for improvement, and it's up to us in practice each week to stay after that, and hopefully it shows at the end of the week on Sunday.
The biggest talking point coming out of week 2 going to be the injuries. Rob Gronkowski and running back Rex Burkhead going to be dealing with something this week. And if we include Julian Edelman, the Patriots are either out or have injured players with 4 of their top 5 options at wide receiver. Reporting in the Superdome, Trey Dare, 7 News Today, New England.
Boy, fingers crossed.
I know.
Hopefully no serious
Just got him
injuries.
back.
Yeah, and I know he was so excited to be back. Stay with us. There is much more ahead on the news station this morning. Chief concern, a local fire chief going before a judge later today facing some disturbing charges.
Making changes, new requirements issued for Florida nursing homes after 8 people died due to heat in the wake of Hurricane Irma.
And back from the bushes, former White House press secretary Sean Spicer making a surprise showing at the Emmys.
And details on the current track of Hurricane Jose coming up in just a bit.
And if you're getting ready to walk out the door, you'll have a very quick commute this morning. We'll have details after the break. Stay with us.